John Wesley Hardin was a killer. By the end, he confessed to taking the lives of 42 men.
Fala pessoal, sejam bem-vindos ao meu canal, eu sou o John e hoje vamos contar nossa aventura em Juarez, então vamos lá.
Families who put up money in hopes of finding justice. He was a bona fide folk hero by then, and had amassed a gang of armed miscreants and other assorted thugs. He and his men set up camp outside of town, and I was hoping Bob was among them.
Shit, it's cold out here. I'm freezing my... Damn it! Shoot that son of a bitch!
Eita.
They didn't ask why I was there. They knew. As most of them were wanted as well. I figured Hardin was here somewhere, but to get to him, I'd have to get past his gun hands.
Eita.
And that was easier said than done, as most of them were as foolish and full of bravado
Opa, ainda
as
tem
I
mais?
was. I had to spill a lot of blood to find out Hardin wasn't in that camp. He
Eu
was
pensei só tinha
carousing in
aqueles,
town with his
mas...
closest friends.
Opa.
Hardin's boys apparently didn't want me to reach the Bull's Head. Some were hightailing it into town to inform their jefe of my unwelcomed presence.
Filho da mãe. Pronto. Pronto, nada, tem mais um aqui. Cadê você? Pronto. Eu acho que foi tudo. Ou não. Deixa eu ver. Eita, o acampamento deles aqui meio vacilando. Não. Deixa eu taxar isso aqui. Cadê você? Vamos com essa mesmo. Tô com um riflezinho que é melhorzinho. Que mais? Tem. Isso, garoto.
I wondered if Bob was among them. And I steeled myself for the fight ahead. For as good as I was, deep down I wondered if John Wesley wasn't just a little bit better.
Deixa eu ver se eu tenho... Tem algum outro não.
Before I could test my mettle against Hardin, however, I would first need to dispatch his cadre of hired killers. Most of these degenerates were beyond redemption, but John Wesley might have been a different story.
Chegou gente da cidade, tem intruso.
I didn't learn until later that that night was in fact his birthday celebration.
Shoot him! Shoot him!
Onde é que tu tá? Corre. Tem mais ali na frente.
I think I already mentioned that I found Harding in this very saloon.
You better hide. Show 'em how to die.
Suffice it to say, nobody there was happy to see me.
Eita.
In fact, I felt a certain hostility.
You just dodged a damn bullet? That's right.
Espero que tenha sido tudo já.
You bastard!
Ou não.
I was disappointed that neither Bob nor John Wesley were among the dead. But that was short-lived, as a moment later I was facing down the fastest gun in the West.
Ih, ferrou.
I felt a bolt of adrenaline.
Eu não gosto muito disso.
Maybe that was fear. He was well known for his tricks, and I knew I'd need my own if I was ever to defeat him. That man was faster than greased lightning. But being inebriated as he was, he didn't count his shots. And now, he was at my mercy.
So he didn't die?
No, I sent him to prison. Years later, after he was free, some restless Avenger took his life. Shot him in the back in a saloon just like this one. Anybody up for another beer? Ben?
Rapaz, deixa eu nem terminar o duelo, velho.
Thank you, darling. Yeah, some say revenge is a dish best served cold.
So whatever happened to that Bob guy you were after?
Personally, I'd like to hear some of your other adventures. Like, I don't know, did you ever go toe-to-toe with a red man?
Yes, I did, Ben. I remember once I was after this renegade Apache, Grey Wolf. Strangely enough, revenge was also his primary motivation. A bounty was put on Grey Wolf's head, and that's how I came to hunt him in the mountains. Mountains so high they tickled the nether regions of heaven.
Vamos lá, atrás desse lobo cinzento.
Grey Wolf was a Chiricahua Apache medicine man who had led a war party in revenge for a massacre against his people. The U.S. Army had attacked his tribe during his daughter's sacred sunrise ceremony, and the slaughter was unspeakable. I understood his anger, as there's nothing more traumatic than seeing those you love die in a cruel and painful death. Right from the beginning, I couldn't shake the feeling that Grey Wolf was watching my every move. He led a band of young Apache warriors who wanted retribution and were more than willing to die for him.
Espero que esse lobo não venha atrapalhar.
They saw me before I saw them.
Eita, começa assim já. Apareça aí, seus índios.
They saw me before I saw them.
Passou rápido. Eita. Passou raspando. Eita! Bem. Agora foi. Opa! Oxe, cara, calma. Mas podia ter alguma coisa para melhorar para mim.
The winter home of the Chiricahuas. And that's why they had retreated there.
É, velho, querer enfrentar os índios aqui no local onde eles conhecem vai ser ruim.
I admit to having some regrets about going after them the way I did. But then again, I got a lot of those.
Mas também desse jeito, né? Vamos ver com isso aqui. Acredito não, velho.
Did you find Grey Wolf?
Not at that moment, but I did find the entrance to their hideout.
Brigar com o índio, né? Que eles conhecem. Eu tô em desvantagem. Muito. Eita, fiquei exposto. Carrega essa arma. Vamos ver. Porra, vou apontar aqui, ó. Esse é melhor.
A deep crevice that led to a deeper cave.
Don't tell me we're in there.
Yeah, but it's not out of bravery so much as pure, angry
Mas eu não
cussing.
faria isso não, mas... Já estamos aqui.
See, back then, I had a stubborn streak a mile wide, and I wasn't about to back down.
So it was like pitch black in there?
Actually, it was pretty well lit, as they had torches on the walls.
Não, melhor não, fica com um rifle mesmo. Espero que seja melhor. Calma. Tem mais algum? Tem mais algum? Seguir. Cara, esse veio caçar alguns esse aqui.
How big was his cave?
Big as hell, Ben. Chiricahua had hid out there during the Indian Wars. They thought it was haunted with the ghosts of those murdered by the horse soldiers.
The cave was haunted with dead
Você,
Indian
cara,
ghosts?
To be honest, I was more concerned with the live ones than the dead ones.
Eu podia ter tentado eliminar o resto. Cadê?
How come you know so much about engines?
A few years back, I was married to two Mescalero women.
At the same time?
Yeah, they were sisters. Polygyny is traditional among the Mescalero.
So what happened?
Oh, I had to get out of there. Those girls never shut up. Both of them nagging at me all the time. Drove me half crazy. Haven't seen them since.
No, I mean, what happened with Grey Wolf?
Oh, well, I pursued him into the Cave of Death.
Eu pensei que ele ia voltar, não foi assim que aconteceu, mas...
I came upon this flooded grotto, and that's when I saw him. He came to me unarmed and unafraid. His voice echoed in the shadows, and I sensed he meant me no harm.
You carry great darkness in your heart, and if you do not release it, it will claim your soul.
The sound of his voice put some kind of ancient Indian spell on me. As his story unfolded in my mind,
You will come to this place again and kill many more men, and the darkness will grow until it consumes everything that you are. The soul would have no rainbow if the eye had no tears.
he said I was a great warrior, a coyote man,
Rapaz,
unequaled by any other pale-faced warrior, or something like that.
The snakes will bite shadows of your past until a venom poisons your heart, and an echo of the song of the dead summons the spirits deep from within the
oh,
mountains.
gente, não pega não, hein?
I didn't quite get what he was saying, but there was definitely snakes. And indeed, his warriors surrounded me and attacked me like hungry wolverines. They couldn't stop me, though, and Grey Wolf wasn't in the mood for idle talk.
Ah, vacilo. desse lado direito aqui não vai ter. É, faleci demais. Não tem ninguém pra me atrapalhar, né? Que vai aparecer. À direita mais um. Tem. Mais.
I swear I couldn't see any way out of this trap. But suddenly, one just appeared. Kind of like a miracle.
Ferrou.
I felt like I would be lost in that damn cave forever. Finally, I found myself back outside, perched on the edge of a precipice, overlooking a thundering whitewater river. To get where I was going required several leaps of faith, but no way in hell I was turning back. I chased after him, determined to make him explain the meaning of all that mumbo-jumbo.
Mumbo-jumbo's right. Are you making this all up as you go?
A few details may be fuzzy, brother, but I am relating exactly what happened to me.
Melhor seguir, tentar fazer.
There were dozens of Apache warriors aiming at me from on high.
Dozens?
Well, maybe not dozens, but there was a lot of them.
At least 3 or 4.
Well, more than that, little lady.
E eu penso que isso, mas tem que pensar bem, porque a galera não vai deixar ele lutar sozinho, vai impedir qualquer inimigo. Eita!
I had a steep climb up creek ahead of me and scrambled up those rocks like a mountain goat. I was determined to locate Grey Wolf and find out exactly what the hell he was trying to tell me.
Menino, esse cara tá longe, viu? Que...
And wouldn't you know it, that crafty son of a bitch led me right into a trap.
What kind of trap?
Well, son, there had to be at least 100 Apaches surrounding me.
100?
God be my witness.
Oh, come on. Who are you kidding?
Hey, I believe you. Come on, tell us how it ended.
All right, but I'm not gonna drag this out. Where were we?
You were surrounded by 100 Apache warriors.
Well, I didn't take the time to count them exactly, but there were a lot of them.
Ah, podia pegar até uma machadinha dessa aqui dele, né? Ia ficar top. Aproveitar. Deixa eu ver aqui. Tá comprando isso aqui, mas... Ô, velho. Espero que eu tenha munição suficiente, que... Onde tá bom?
And in the end, a path appeared before me that I had not seen before.
Vixe. Olha aí.
I followed it as I desperately needed to find out what Grey Wolf was trying to tell me. But it was like that son of a bitch disappeared into thin air. Never did find him. And never did collect my goddamn bounty. Thank you, darling. It's interesting how the truth can sometimes seem, might malleable, depending upon your point of view.
Like how those dime novels make you out to be something you're not?
Jack, don't be starting trouble.
No, he's right. They do tend to exaggerate.
Did they exaggerate your part in taking down the Daltons?
Well, I was there in the flesh, boy, so I saw what happened firsthand. Those Daltons were lawmen once, before they all went bad, robbing banks and trains clear across the territory. Until Coffeeville, of course. I was one of the citizens who took up arms that day.
Fighting on the side of the riot?
I did my best, sir. We all did. It was early morning. One of my friends was a local gunsmith, and he handed out firearms to anybody who'd take one. You see, the Daltons got it in their heads to rob 2 banks at the same time. 2 banks on the same damn street. Story was Bob Dalton's girl was always riding him about how he had no ambition. Oh, you're nobody next to Jesse James, she'd say. Finally, the bastard took his brothers to Coffeeville just to shut her up.
Right. It's always the woman's fault.
Well, the locals recognized the Daltons right off.
Que
Before they could get
seriam
away,
caçou.
half the town took up arms to defend their property.
Hey, we got us a hero. Put some holes in him!
Oh, velho. Aproveita e recarregar as armas.
The brothers paid dearly for their stupidity, but everybody knows they had it coming.
There's more to it than that. I read all about that day, so I know for a fact that it went down very differently. First of all, it was high noon. A posse of U.S. deputy marshals were on the rooftop across the
Cada
street.
com uma visão diferente.
Get ready, boys. They're gonna make a move.
The lawmen had been tracking the Daltons for months, and now they finally had them dead to rights. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker. The marshals tried to get the Daltons
Mais
to
uma
surrender,
vez.
They'll give up eventually. We just gotta wait for some of the bitches out.
but this bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns. He went in there alone to confront those criminals. One of the marshals shouted,
Desce.
"Where are you going? Are you crazy?"
Hey, where do you think you're going, dumbass? That rifle's mine.
But he paid him no mind.
Aproveitando.
He saw a way to get around to the back of the bank. Then he figured out how to hit the Daltons from a direction they weren't expecting.
E é bom que os caminhar por aqui do nada. Bom já
A
é
moment
uma
later, he
vantagem
was
já.
climbing up a steep ladder, laughing at danger as he did. It was brave men like him who risked their lives to tame this wild country.
We've got company.
Heroic men like him, who did what other men couldn't or wouldn't to make this country free. Like Jim Bowie and Davy Crockett, who died defending the Alamo.
Is that Silas Greaves? Son of a bitch!
Mais algum?
Show yourself, coward!
Bora. Nove. Pelo menos alguma coisa aqui.
Over there! That's Silas Greaves! What the hell?
Blam! Blam! He came away victorious, taking down those thieving Daltons.
Pera, antes de eu ir, deixa eu... Se tem alguma coisa aqui a mais. Acho que não.
His name was Silas Greaves, and when the dust finally settled, he was the last man standing.
Sorry, kid, but that just wasn't the way it happened.
Não vi outro ponto de vista aqui.
It was early evening, not high noon. I was late to the party and Coffeyville was already up in arms. The Daltons blew up a safe and were all set to hightail it out of there. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies. Show yourself! I had been tracking those jokers for months, waiting for them to do something reckless. Boy, you are shit out of
Ah,
Finally, they did. Those stupid bastards decided to rob two banks at the same time in the same
Opa.
town where everybody knew them. But they still had friends in Coffeyville.
Vai devolver a porta dos outros, macho.
Hey, you got us to eat. Put some holes in them!
And those friends came after me like a pack of wild dogs, tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all directions. I caught sight of the Daltons running with the money and didn't want to lose it. Problem was, they knew the town better than I did. And to top it off, I found myself in the middle of another shootout entirely.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No, it was the Smiths, I believe. They were cousins of the Daltons, and they were shooting at the Browns, who were shooting at the Daltons, which wasn't any surprise, because those two families have been feuding forever. And since the Joneses are related to the Browns, they shot at the Smiths, pissing off the Heimhoffers, whose daughter recently married a Smith. Well, bullets were flying every which way as all the old feuds in Kansas caught fire all at once. There was a hell of a lot of pissed off people in Coffeyville that day. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Shit happens.
Esse ponto aqui. Não, pera aí. Tô usando mais a pistola, então.
The Dalton boys knew I would never give up.
Focar pouco nela.
Those Daltons weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, but they always stood together. They set a trap to slow me down and allow at least two of them to escape.
Filho da mãe.
The third brother stayed behind to plant me, just in case that trap of theirs didn't work.
Feito isso antes, tinha vacilado, tinha morrido.
It was Emmett, the youngest, and he decided to stand his ground and face me down.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Greaves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to protect his brothers. And I understood how he felt.
Beleza.
Taking me on all by his lonesome wasn't exactly a recipe for a long life.
Caramba!
Gonna send you to the bone orchard.
Ai, de perto de mim, moço.
Gonna beat you like a red-headed stepchild. You messed with the wrong damn Dalton. You are dead, law dog.
Cadê você?
But Emmett Dalton survived the robbery in Coffeyville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot 23 times.
Well, Dwight, who do you think put all those damn holes in him? But I have to admit, that boy had grit.
We'll get those suckers.
It took me a couple of days to track the Daltons down.
They can't get away with this.
And in that time, a whole posse of local vigilantes offered to lend a hand.
Vamos lá atrás deles.
We'll track them to the ends of the earth.
They seemed as determined as me to find those outlaws. But as we headed into those swamps, it was like I had my own private army. There was no way those boys were getting away this time.
Vou explodir
It
só
was
pra
early
chamar
fall,
atenção.
right? Beautiful time of year. At least you had the weather on your side.
Not by my recollection. It was damp and foggy as hell. It was tough to stay on a true course. So we kept an eye out for landmarks.
Cadê você?
It was autumn. The maple trees were in full color.
Eita.
Red as
Oh.
blood.
Do nada. Ah, beleza então.
The rains that year were torrential, so the whole area was flooded. The
Essas casas não
vigilantes
devem
had
ter
spread
nada,
out
porque é tudo
wide, and pretty
destruído.
soon I couldn't see anybody.
Mas, olha, né? Olha aí. Olha, né? Pelo menos pra ter certeza se tem alguma coisa ou não.
Bury them in the snow. Plant them where they stand.
Except for some bitches ahead of me wanting to do me harm. So I had to face them alone. I wondered why my compatriots didn't come running when they heard the shots.
Vou apressar em calma.
So did you find the Daltons?
Not yet. But I did have the questionable pleasure of meeting a few of their friends. The boys had established quite a reputation by that time, so they attracted all manner of riffraff to their cause.
Vai tá lá em cima e eu procurei outro local.
Son of a bitch.
Ih, macho. Ei, precisa achar munição e rápido.
I'll blow you right out of there.
Onde vocês estão? Mini boss ali, será?
Point being, I was under serious attack.
Aí ferra, né?
And my reinforcements was nowhere to be seen.
They're gonna bury you in a million pieces. Bury him in the swamp.
Vou pegar uma munição aqui.
I think I winged it.
E não morreu.
But luckily, a barn materialized as if right before my eyes.
Muito
I
bom, já
scrambled up top to get a better view.
Não digam já tirou, já era. Pegou o máximo de munição possível.
But just ended up falling inside.
So, how did you get out?
The barn doors was open. About right then, I saw some suspicious characters running for the bushes. Of course, I followed them. But that goddamn swamp was like a goddamn maze, and pretty soon I had no goddamn idea where I was. Steve? So I just started walking, and pretty soon... Steve? Steve!
Huh? Oh, no, I'm listening.
Indians surrounded me from all sides.
Pensei que podia entrar por ali, mas...
They were Indians.
No. I just wanted to make sure Steve was paying attention. Now, where was I?
You were following the Daltons through a swamp?
That's right. See, Steve? Dwight's paying attention.
No, I'm listening. I was just resting my eyes.
So, where was I?
The Daltons.
Right. See, there's a reason so many outlaw gangs are made up of brothers. Being a brother is a very sacred thing. It's a bond like no other.
Bounty hunters! Stop that, son of a bitch!
So did you ever find the damn Daltons?
Not yet.
bom que você já pode
But I did find a few of their
escolher
cousins.
algum desses aqui, ó.
Kansans breed like rabbits. More Smiths or Heimhoffers or who knows what.
Tá tudo
But hell,
preparado aqui.
what's more important than family? I bet Ben knows what I'm talking about.
Bounty hunter!
Não,
Stop
tava aqui, ninguém escolheu mais.
Take that asshole out!
Ah, filho da mãe. Eu não tenho... Prestar atenção nele. De novo. Eu descubro você. mais um. Um não, uns.
Bury him in the smoke.
Só tem isso aqui, será? Ih. Pelo menos já foi. Aproveitei pegar munição, que eu preciso aí muito. Caramba, esses caras do nada. Deve ter ido todos, eu acho.
Yeah, you know you can't beat me.
Sai da...
It's you or me.
You ain't seen the likes of me. I'm gonna blow your damn head off.
I knew those Dalton boys were out there
Eu penso que eu
somewhere,
matei todos,
standing
mas
together
do nada
against
aparece
anyone
mais.
who would threaten them.
Me espantando que é grande, velho.
And that's when I saw it. A
Demora
goddamn
nada pra
steamboat.
encontrar o cara.
A steamboat in a swamp?
Yeah, Steve, but this wasn't much more than a wreck, really.
But how'd a damn steamboat end up in the swamps?
Aí eu
Guess
não
it
sei.
floated off during the flood of '89.
Now, was it a stern wheeler or a side wheeler?
What? Does that really make a difference, Steve? It was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board.
Vai
It was
ficar
then that a
por
fusillade of
cada
bullets
linha.
come raining down from on high, and those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found. But among those men that were shooting at me, I thought I saw some familiar faces.
A pistola não vai adiantar muito aqui, não. Eita!
Kill that goddamn bounty
Tem mais algum? Não precisa nem perguntar.
This some bitch is missing me.
Ah, filho. Aí é foda, velho.
Catch him in the...
Pronto, menos um granadeiro, pelo menos. velho. Preparar.
Somewhere up there, the Daltons were waiting on me.
Só o pó aqui, pelo menos. Arrumar. Escolher outro esconderijo melhor.
Sounds like you don't give up too easy.
That's the kind of man I am, Ben. I set out to do something. I do it. Surrender just ain't in my nature. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
Não tem muito se abaixar não, porque... Enfim. Deve ser uma coisa... Por que eu fui fazer isso assim? Primeiro eu derrubei logo eles pra depois subir. Mas já foi. Cadê vocês? Tem tipo não escapa mais não.
Much to my relief, the vigilantes finally arrived. Their leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit. But it turned out that they had me.
Take him out! I'm
Traidor.
sending you to hell!
The Daltons had played me
Not
like
so
a
tough
fiddle.
after all, is it?
Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll.
Lucky.
They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a challenge.
It was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Well, yeah, but I was in a
Did you hear
fight.
about that ship that's gonna launch
Vai,
next
vai,
year?
vai.
Largest one in the world.
You're
What I'm-
talking about the Titanic. If you ask me, it's too blessed big. I don't
Opa.
think it'll even float.
So anyway,
Don't be stupid, Steve. They know what they're doing. They say
Cara,
that the Titanic
cara
was
pilantra,
unsafe.
oh God,
But getting back to that steamboat,
cara
how'd you get off it, Mr.
pilantra,
Greaves?
velho.
I took in a lot of smoke that day, so I admit my recollection
Aí eu
might be a
digo,
bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally
Traidor da
disembark. I was coughing up smoke and
Ele
pretty
se
damn
encontra por
pissed.
aí.
I was done playing games with those boys. It was time to settle this once and for all.
Mas se acabar bora por mim. Eita! Oxi! Eita!
Bob and Grat weren't about to come at me one at a time. They were in this together. Two brothers side by side, determined to take me down. Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
Agora eu ferro com saber quem vai atirar primeiro.
They got it wrong. A sad end for those two. If they'd only known that Emmett was still alive despite his wounds. Paroled 14 years later, he moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day. And the tragic death of his two brothers. My own brothers died tragically as well, truth be told. It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us. It was Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we had, including our lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy." Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them. Ringo you know about. But Bob eluded me, until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch. I'd been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains.
Pessoal,
Led by
botando o
Butch
vídeo por aqui.
Cassidy,
Eu espero que
they
vocês
were a
tenham
loose
gostado.
association of
Até o
outlaws who
próximo.
robbed banks and
Valeu.
trains from Colorado to Montana. Among them was the Sundance Kid, and that murderous hombre I was tracking, Roscoe Bob Bryant.
Were you a part of that giant Pinkerton posse after the Wild Bunch?
No, boy. A circus like that would have slowed me down. Besides, I wanted Bryant all to myself.